Well, hello everybody. How are we today? Welcome, very much welcome, to a very special episode of the Hillbilly Files. We are on a straight up treasure hunt today. No joke. We are on a treasure hunt today. It's not gold and silver, but it is treasure nonetheless. It's historical treasure, which, as you know, also makes things valuable. In a video that we just recently did about the Mingo oak, the oldest living oak tree, at least according to the Smithsonian, on Earth. The oldest living tree on Earth, white oak. And that church right over there has a piece of this tree that apparently seeded somewhere around the year 1350, 130 years before Christopher Columbus. And it grew here in West Virginia, and it's in their church right there. The pulpit is made from that tree. Now, when I was over here talking to them, well, while we were working on the story, you know, like I said, of the great Mingo oak, one of the guys there mentioned that there was an old cemetery hidden right here in my very own hometown, with no sign and no marker, just a name that instantly made bells ring: the Lawson Cemetery. And once that was said, we couldn't let it go because we haven't found it yet. And that's why I'm here today, because if there really is a cemetery hidden away right here in Williamson, and if it's as old as we suspect, then it very much matters. So we started researching it, digging through records, old family histories, and anything else we could get our hands on. And what we found points to something much older than most people realize. That the Lawsons were not a coal era family. They were here in southern West Virginia long before the coal boom. We're talking original hillbillies, guys, original ones, hillbilly zero, right? Now, records place them in this part of the Tug Fork Valley way back in the early 1800s, before Williamson existed as a town, and long before Mingo County was even a thought. They were farmers and major landholders. They were rugged people who settled where water and bottomland made life possible, and they buried their dead on their own ground. Lawsons settled here. They cleared the land, built a homestead. According to records, the Lawson family cemetery sat near the old Lawson homestead, described in early records as being midway between what would later become Williamson and the mouth of Sycamore Creek, where I went up not long ago and showed you guys the ghost town. Remember, on my bike in the snow on the e-bike? But anyway, that places it right here on the east side of town. Earliest known burials is John Lawson, born in 1807 and died by 1844. When he died, he was laid to rest in his family plot. His wife, Emily, would later be buried beside him. Their children followed: a son who died young, another who lived long enough to become a doctor. And over time, Williamson grew up around it. Roads were cut out and neighborhoods were formed. But this spot stayed the same, untouched, unused, and no longer even noticed. Other cemeteries were mapped and named, but the Lawson Cemetery wasn't. There is a find a grave listing, but no location for it, no headstone photos or on the ground documentation, because the information all comes from records and documents, meaning no one has ever actually went there to look and put those people back in the history books where they belong. We did notice there are several requests from people wanting to see this cemetery documented and see their family members for their family tree. One of the people buried here is Dr. Lafayette Earl Fay Lawson. Dr. Lawson was a dentist here in Williamson, West Virginia, way back in 1910. He was a graduate of Louisville Dental College and Virginia Polytechnic Institute in Blacksburg, Virginia. During World War I, he was a captain in the United States Army, which says a lot about him already. He was the son of Harrison Harry Lawson and Ella Murray, and the grandson of a pioneer physician named Dr. George W. Lawson, who practiced medicine in Williamson during the town's earliest years. But this story also brings to mind the Lawsons who first settled Logan, West Virginia. Names like Ann Lawson, who we covered in a story before, a woman who was supposedly killed by her own slaves in 1847 over a strongbox filled with valuables. That branch of the family owned vast amounts of land stretching from Logan down all the way down here toward Williamson. They were not small settlers. They were deeply rooted here from the very beginning. And before any of that, the Lawson family traces back to England, long before the name was tied to Appalachian land. But this ground tells the earliest story of the area's history. Before the coal fields, before the railroads thundered through the mountains, people were living and dying right here. Now, standing here now, as I am right now, without knowing where the stones are or the graveyard is, I know it's there somewhere, but standing here, you realize just how easy it is for places like this to completely disappear without ever actually going anywhere. Unless someone stops, looks, and asks the questions, the people here remain undocumented and lost to time. But like I was saying now, when I was little, I want to point something out to you guys real fast. Right there is the Williamson rail yard, great big yard, roundhouse is right over there. Now when I was little, we lived a couple thousand yards, if that, right up here. I walked to school up here. I went to a little grade school up here, first grade. I walked this path, this up here, turned right here, and went right up to the school. We stopped at this little store there, buy candy and stuff. I remember it very well. That's how familiar I am with this place. And I had no clue that this cemetery was even up there. The town has literally grown up around it and forgotten about it, guys. It is truly lost. Now, how wild is that? And these are, like I said, Williamson's original early founders, the settlers, some of the original settlers to even think about coming into a place like southern West Virginia and fighting through the trees and the brush and the snakes and the bears and the whatnot and everything else, all of the wildest West Virginia that West Virginia has to offer. And these people braved it. They had their homestead somewhere right in here, because the house would have been right with the graveyard. Presumably, now I'm just guessing this part, I'm guessing the house probably sat right in here. Now I don't know that, I'm guessing. Now Moore Street goes up right here. You see where that street goes up? Now it's washed out, you can't go around that way, they got it blocked off. But according to old tax maps, now in West Virginia you can go online and just simply do a search for West Virginia property tax viewer and then zoom in on the area you're curious about, right? You can also do a search by name and just use Mingo County and search. Instead of using a name, you just type in the word cemetery and hit search, and it'll come back with all the cemeteries. But anyway, When I did that, when I checked this area out, when I checked this spot out, guess what it said? It said cemetery. It did. It said cemetery. So, I mean, that just, I mean, you know, it was just like angels singing or something. But anyway, right up here, about where that truck is, there should be what's, I guess now it's probably just an overgrown dirt trail, I'm guessing. I may have to just go straight up the hill. I don't know. I just, you know what I know. You've seen what I've seen so far. I think I could go up here and weasel through the brush and thorns and come back out. It should be right up in here. But I was kind of looking on the other end. That, I don't know which one would be the easiest. So I guess I'm just going to have to get off the camera, turn the camera off for a minute, and do a little bit of recon here and see what's the best way to get up there and go on our little treasure hunt. We're going to see if we can't find a real lost piece of history from some of the earliest hillbillies, guys. Imagine that. Imagine that. Hillbilly Zero. Okay, I went to the lower side first. It was uphill, so, you know, get the uphill over with first, right? But I found, look here at these old retaining walls. That looks promising, don't it? I'm guessing they used to stand upright back in the day, but that's been a while. Completely fell over. Look at that, just laid down. I bet that's it. That looks promising. Now on the map, this is shown as Lincas Street. Imagine that on the tax maps and stuff. There's an old Lincas house in town. It's a 3-story, really old house. They had speakeasies. The Lincas house has a hidden speakeasy in it, if that tells you anything. Very thorny. Very thorny. Raspberries. You imagine trying this in the summer? Is it solid? No. Solid you can step on. If it ain't solid, you step between. That's the difference. On is easier. Ow. Thorn to the finger. I work for it, don't I? I see some old ruins. Some kind of old home. What is that? That's a fireplace, isn't it? That's an old fireplace. It's a coal basket. See how it's real small? It's for coal. Well, it looks like I'm blocked here. See what's left of a house. A retaining wall, cinder block wall's been added later. No. Maybe. No. Alright, we're gonna have to circle back and climb. I see a flat up there. That could be it right there. Either way, this is not an old graveyard here. The end of Lincas Street. How y'all like this street? Alright, where can I go up at? Looks like mountain goat time. Unless I see anything better, that's it right there. Just rip right up the side of the hill. I don't see nothing any better. Alright, I'm gonna have to turn the camera off. Go into mountain goat gear. Straight up. See y'all in a minute. Well, the view's getting a little bit better the higher I go. You can see the rail yard now. Roundhouse right down there. Look what I just came up. That is straight down. A little hole. I came up through that little hole right there. Very slow, deliberate steps up there, up that way behind that tree, and then up between here. And guess what I found when I got up here? This must be Lincoln Street up here, not down there. So, yeah, figures, don't it? It figures. It totally figures. I would have to climb something like that and then find, hey, there's a road. Figures. Oh well. Oh well. Very brushy. Very thorny. It's one good thing about in the winter when you got the coveralls on. It helps with the thorns. Look, somebody's been dumping some trash many years ago. What's that? Oh, it's a tire. I thought that was a headstone. Fell over or something right there. Okay, there's that old house. That goes on around. I can see another old ruined house up here. It may be in that. Wow, what a mess, man. Look at that, what a tangled mess. Trash everywhere. Go up. Always look uphill first. If you go down and look and don't find it, now you have a hard climb ahead of you. If you go up and don't find it, at least it's downhill. Okay, now this looks like the end of the street right here. Somebody's stairs from way back when. Now something's made a nest in the tree right there. Some kind of hawk or something. Alright, it looks like it's down in there somewhere. Look at that, a mattress, tires, baby dolls, all kinds of stuff. Okay, back into the brush we go. The road was nice for a minute. Well, that I'm calling a road. That was nice. That was nice for a minute compared to what I'm about to get into. Okay, let's see where we go down at. Right there. Right, straight down the hill where the deer go. Straight down the hill where the deer go. Okay, so be it. Here we go. Be right back. Take a look at that. All snarled up. I just came through that. Believe it or not. I came down, went up, back that way. That road went out through there, climbed down the hill, and I've been skirting my way back around the point, kind of working my way through here, through the vegetation and just junk everywhere. You know, stuff. Everywhere you look, there's junk. But guess what I found? Guess what I found? I can see it from here. Almost there. Wow, look at that wrought iron. Oh, I see some more down there too. Wow, look at that. I see at least 3 in here. Wow, look at that. It's metalwork. Look at this. Now that is old. That is a beautiful work, isn't it? Alright, how do we get in over there? I think. Nope. Gotta go this way. Gotta go through this junk. Or around. And then through this junk. Almost. Any more? We'll look there in a second. There may be more. Wow, look at this. Lawson. It sure is. In memory of J.M. Lawson. Died October 6th, 1838. Excuse me. 1838. Aged 11 months. Okay, now. Well, look at that one. Emily Smith, wife of John Lawson, born January 21st, 1813, and died March 30th, 1902.
Emily's full name was Emily Butcher at birth, but she became Emily Lawson when she married John Lawson in 1833. After John's death in 1844, she eventually remarried a man named George Smith, likely around 1850. From that point forward, she was legally and socially known as Emily Smith, even though her first husband's surname, Lawson, continued to be significant to her identity and her children. In 1833, John Lawson married Emily Butcher, daughter of Joshua Butcher and Sarah Clark. The couple settled at the mouth of Sycamore Creek on land that John acquired along the Tug Fork. Over time, he amassed more than 26,000 acres of coal and timberland in what would later become Mingo County. He was a visionary frontiersman, laying the groundwork for his family's deep roots in the area. Tragically, John Lawson died in 1844 after being struck by a falling tree while working on his land. He was buried on a high knoll overlooking his homestead, a place that would become the Lawson family cemetery. Emily remained a central figure in the community. Around 1850, she married George Smith and had 2 more children, though she continued to be remembered as Emily Lawson. She lived to the age of 89, dying in 1902 at the family home. Her gravestone honors her first marriage, reading, Emily Smith, wife of John Lawson. She is buried alongside John on the same hilltop they once called home. John and Emily had 6 children, several of whom went on to shape the future of the region. The following is an obituary I found for her. Bluefield Daily Telegraph, Bluefield, West Virginia, Tuesday, April 2nd, 1901, page 1. Yesterday evening at the home of E.L. Walker, Mrs. Emily Smith died at 1 o'clock from Ella grippe, which is the flu. Mrs. Smith, or Grandma Smith, as everyone was wont to call her, was perhaps the oldest woman in Mingo County, being born in the year of 1812. Her 4 children, Mrs. Sally Crockett, Mrs. Alvis Maynard, and Dr. G.W. Lawson and Mr. Allen Smith, were present when death came. Mrs. Smith was one of the most highly respected old ladies in this community and had resided just above the town, the present site of the N&W yards, for 65 years. She was a member of one of Virginia's aristocratic families and was at one time very wealthy, possessing lands and money estimated at about $200,000. She was born at Peterstown, Virginia, and was first married to John Lawson in 1832 at Logan Courthouse, Logan County, and moved to this place in 1836. Mr. Lawson was killed by a falling tree on Sycamore Creek, this county, a few years after he came here. In 1842, Mrs. Smith was married to her late husband, who was a wealth plantation owner in state of Virginia, and her father, Major Butcher, served with distinction with General Sumter in the Revolutionary War. Mrs. Smith is the mother of Dr. G.W. Lawson of this place, president of the Bank of Williamson, and Mr. Allen Smith, a prominent citizen of Pike County.
Aged 89 and a half years, 89 years, 2 months, 28 days. Now over here, let me see how the best way to get to that one. It's a sacred Johnny L. Lawson. It's really worn, isn't it? I see an 1844 right there, 1844. Man, I wish I could read that. Johnny Lawson. Wow, that is so cool to just come out here someplace like this and find something this amazing, this old, this historic right here. Let's look around, see what else we see. See if we see any more. I see a wall, a retaining wall. Looks like probably built around that. Look at those. That old fence been knocked down. Trees has knocked it down. I see a retaining wall right there. Someone's built out through there, across here, and back that way. See if I see any more over the hill. If not, then go back and look around a little bit more. Just kind of get a lay of the land real quick. Got another one I have to go to too. It's also family. It's another cemetery. Of course, that one's by the road. Well, this one's by the road too, but that one people know about. This one they don't. Wow, that is amazing. Just look at that. Look at that little family plot. That is beautiful. I mean, I know it's overgrown and all that, but I mean, you just imagine this, what it was like back in the day. You know, the family farmhouse right down there, and they could look up here on the hill and see their family. I would say there's more here. Yeah, here's some kind of stone over here. If I can get over there. I'm gonna have to change batteries here. I'm down to, I think, 13%. I'll be back. Be right back. Okay, no. This one is not one. It's just a really big flat rock. I wonder if it might have been original gate to get in. Could be. But look at the gate though, the fence work. I mean, how fancy that is. Can you imagine for that time period, you know, to have a graveyard this ornate? You were fairly wealthy to have something like that back then. Look at this. This was just sitting here, laying on the ground. Look at this. It's one of the corners. Came out of that one right there, didn't it? Well, we'll stand it up. If nothing else, it'll rust a lot slower that way. Get it up out of the ground. You never know. One of the Lawson family might want to come up here and fix it someday. Never know. At least it's up out of the mud anyhow. The other ones seem to be okay. No, that one's missing one, isn't it? There's 3 of them, 3 little corners. But that is amazing. Was that 1834? wasn't it? Baby. 1838. Wow. 1838. Now that is an old grave for around here. And look out, you can see how short it is too. There's the footstone to it. It's just right there. But these over here, let me wiggle around, get through some of the briars and trees here. This one here, I thought that might be one, but it's just something carved. I'm sure it was something pretty at one point, but now it's all broken. Look at that. JL right there. That's the only ones I found here are these three. So we'll have to go check the other one here in a minute. Of course, that one will be a lot easier to get to than this one. This one was a nightmare. I kid you not, guys, to get here. You have no clue what I just crawled through to find this place. But we found it, didn't we? We found it. Now, how cool is that? Just like I said, look at the fencing. I mean, that would be insanely expensive and fancy by today's standards, let alone way back then. That is really cool. And you got to picture this. None of this trash was here. This probably was cleared. This whole hillside was probably clear, because according to the stories, they supposedly cleared the land. And I can imagine, see, here's something right there. Some sort of a wall, used to be. And there's that old house that collapsed. It's right over there. So this is directly behind that house where I came up and said, no, this is the other side of it. But there it is. We found it. Very, very overgrown now, though, isn't it? Anything at all over this wall here. If y'all see anything now, holler. I see another little wall right here down there, so there may be some unmarked ones in there somewhere. It shows on the map a much bigger area than that. I'll put it that way. So there's probably some in here that are unmarked. But we'll go up here in a minute to the other one and see who's at that one. Of course, like I said, you can just walk right in that one. That one's easy. This one, I'm going to have a time getting back out of here. It's not that far either. I mean, look. You can see the car. You can see the car sitting down there. I could break my windshield out with a rock if I wanted to. That's probably about 30 minutes of hoofing it back up that way through the brush and then climb back down. I can hit it with a rock. It's right there. But I got to go all the way back up through there. I don't know. We may try that way. Go down, see if I can get down that one road, that Linkus Road. See if it'll hurt. But that is really cool to come out looking for something like this and do all the research and have a really good suspicion that this old, lost, original settlers of Williamson and the entire area, for that matter, the Lawson family, right here under our noses, hiding all this time right under our noses. Just a twist of fate that I happened to be over at that church talking to them about their pulpit being part of that great oak tree, and they mentioned the name Lawson. The easy way. Yeah, once the easy way out of here is helicopter's the easy way. If you ain't got a helicopter, I don't think there is an easy way. Okay, down is definitely out. Up it is. Goodbye, guys. Very much a pleasure to meet you guys. Very much my pleasure to meet y'all. Rest in peace. Okay. Now where are we at? Let's go straight up. Brand new path, you think? I believe if I can get up to that Linkus Road, I believe I could follow that back out. At least it's, I mean, it's overgrown really bad, but at least it's level. Alright. Camera back in my pocket. Mountain goat gear again it is. See y'all up there or down there or something. Well, mountain goating accomplished. I literally stuffed down in my shirt. Sticks in my shirt. Hang on. Okay, anyway. Good enough. Let them stay. Came right straight up through here. That's the cemetery. It's right down through there. But look at all that junk. That's a carpet. Oh my God, no, this is a part of somebody's floor. There was a little house here. That's left remnants of somebody's floor. You can see the foundation. Wow. That is wild. That is wild. I can't believe there's so much junk up here though. I mean, and this is truly a historical graveyard, you know. I mean, that's a real historical site right there. And yeah, it's in really bad shape, ain't it? But at least now it is found, it is recovered, and we know where it's at now. It's just weird though, like I said, that something can be lost and still be right in plain sight. The railroad's taken over, the town's grown up all the way around the cemetery and left it just lost. I don't even know if I can get out this way. We'll find out in a minute, won't we? I see Moore Street down there. I guess worst case scenario, I could rip right through here if I had to. I've done enough ripping for today though. Oh, I see a little bit of asphalt under there. Look at that. A little tiny bit. I'm sure the deer that use this appreciate that asphalt too. Ouch! Right in the face. Well, that one hurt. That one hurt right in the face. And if I don't see anything better, that'll work right there. That's a good one. And go down there right by that truck. Yep, well, we'll look. Done been through a couple 100 yards of this stuff. What's a few more feet, right? Look at that. How you do that, ain't it? Something lost in the mountains and the thorns, the briars. Send in Brer Rabbit. He likes that stuff. Okay, we're back out on the street. Head back down to the car and head up to the other cemetery, the one that you can actually get into really easy. See who's up there and finish our little day. Finish our adventure. Well, I'm back down to the car, and I done told y'all, man, that was a tough one. I mean, I have been, y'all have seen, if you've watched the channel, you know you've seen, I've had some wild ones. I had one I climbed a mountain 600 foot, and then climbed one that's almost 2,000 before I finally found the spot that I was looking for. That, if you look real close, I didn't even notice this earlier. I see it now that I know what I'm looking for. If you look right through there, through that little gap right there, I can see it with my naked eye. I can see the wrought iron fence. That one. Back up the road, leave this spot right here. I've got another spot to go to. It's a really pretty little cemetery up on a hillside. Nothing like what we just did. Nothing like what we just did. Alright, we'll see y'all up there. Well, that looks like that's probably a little bit easier. It don't look quite as difficult as the first one for some reason. But anyway, I'm guessing that the spot that I'm looking for is on that far end down there, those really old ones. I'm guessing that's the ones I'm after. But since I'm already here, I'll go ahead and document, everyone who's here. But anyway, let's go ahead and head on down to the bottom and see what's going on, see who's here. Okay, well, I've walked down to the bottom, down to the end, and we have struck pay dirt, y'all. Lawson's all over the place. Haven't checked dates or anything like that, but I did notice one thing. There's Dr. Lawson right there. That's one of the ones from our story right there. And that one is sinking. Go down between them and come around. Hey, here's Lafayette. Yes, the captain. This is him. It says First Lieutenant here. Oh, he got a... I heard that. First Lieutenant Lafayette Earl Lawson, DDS. Became a dentist later. 1890 to 1952. There he is. I love it when all this just lines up, when the stars just line up and everything just falls into place. I love it. This is Ella M. Lawson, 1867 to 1958, and Harry Lawson, 1863 to 1933. Over here's Lee, yeah. Lee W. Lawson. This was also mentioned, I heard the name. 1900 to 1932. And we'll get everything updated and get everything fixed for all of these people that we've shown you today. Both graveyards and everyone in them that we found we'll take care of. But anyway, guys, thank y'all for coming along with me today and hearing our little story and seeing a little bit of old, really old southern West Virginia history. The kind of stuff you just don't see anywhere else. You have to go, kind of stuff you have to go looking for, and it's not the kind of stuff that's in the history books and on TV. It's the kind of stuff you have to go find yourself. But it's in the history books now, ain't it? It will be now. Anyway, guys, thank y'all for coming along. Like I said, very much appreciate you, keeping me company and supporting the channel and watching our videos and everything. So I guess until the next adventure, guys, this is Leo with the Hillbilly Files. Leo out. See y'all next time.